I'm Tony Sklar with bnetTV. We are here at the Mobile Marketing Association Forum in London, England. I am having a pleasure of speaking with Mr. Charlie Hunter from O2 Media. How are you today, sir?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Tony.
Excellent, fantastic. Listen, for our first-time viewers, why don't you give us a brief overview of O2 Media, why you're here at the Mobile Marketing Association?
O2 Media is a business which is from Telefonica for O2, and the objective of our business is to essentially make revenue from advertising from our customers. It's a real challenge because there's more phones in the UK than there are people. So from a business perspective for O2, you need to look at ways in which to make revenue as a profitable organisation, not just from selling telephones and from access to the mobile network. So that's why it's really important for us to look at new ways in which to generate revenue from customers with new forms of business.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing here at the Mobile Marketing Association and why it's important to be engaged.
There's a lot of brands, a lot of media agencies, a lot of people wanting to learn more about how to do advertising on mobile. For us, it's about making sure that best practice is demonstrated. We've got a lot of case studies, a lot of good examples of how to do best practice in the mobile space. From our perspective, it always has to be personal. You know, that is the one thing that we get questions a lot, is making sure that the message in mobile is delivered that's relevant and personal to the customer, not necessarily always in the right time and at the right place, because you might a message that a customer might receive, say at 9 o'clock, might not be the right time to deliver that message.
So, okay, you know, at any point in time, do you feel like the pendulum can swing too far to one angle where the message is so defined and targeted that it becomes either invasive or intrusive or scary?
Good question, and this is the trust that we have with our customers. Yes, we can say we can make it to the personalisation where I say, "Hi Tony, we know that you're in at the MMA conference in London, and you know two blocks down there is a coffee shop with 50% offer on." That might freak you out a little.
Right.
However, if you're on a Saturday and you receive a message that says there's a 50% off Gap and you don't make it quite so creepy, then you'd be more receptive to it. So it's about how you deliver that message, which is key, but also for the trust that we have from our audience base. We've worked really hard on generating that trust with our audience base. We've spent about 2.5 years building, working out what's the best way to deliver the messages, and customers do have trust in O2. They find it more, they're happy to receive text messages from O2 than they would from third-party brands. If third-party brands were to send them a text message straight away, they would find that intrusive. But because they receive that advertising message via O2, they're actually comfortable with it because they know that they've given O2 permission to communicate to them.
Is there a certain amount of messages that you inevitably would deliver to customers so it's not overwhelming to a certain extent? 1 a day, 5 a day, 10 a day. Where does that number come into play, and who determines that?
Yeah, good question. We have 6.5 million customers that can receive mobile messages. So from an advertiser's perspective, they can get reach and scale, so they can deliver one marketing message to the entire 6.5 million audience base in one day. They wouldn't be able to send 2 messages a day to that entire group.
And so would you be able to do that, better yet, would the customer be able to do that on a weekly basis, a monthly basis? Is there some time frames in there? So again, it's not like, I just got a Gap message last, I don't want to use Gap as the example, but I just got that message, last Saturday. I can't believe I'm getting it again.
Yeah, but it's about how that message works in the media mix. Say for example that Gap one, they might have received that through email, and they might look at that Gap message and they received that on the previous, on a work day, and they'd never printed out that voucher, or they might be on the high street and they've you know what, I've left that voucher at home so I can't use it, but on the phone and they're out and about, actually, you know what, that's fine, because they can then redeem that straight in store.
So that's a really good point about having access to a digital wallet per se with all of your coupons in it at a regular basis, because there's no question that nobody wants to have to remember, hey, there's that store. I wish I had brought that coupon with me.
Yeah, and that's a really exciting time for brands and advertisers, is that the way that the marketplace is evolving is that we're going to be seeing the 360 kind of redemption loop purchase journey. So you, for example, if you may be, so it's really powerful. For example, if you're, say, John Lewis, for the power of data that we know, we could potentially target customers who have just moved home. So if they've just moved home from John Lewis's perspective, that they could be interested in a furniture offer. On that furniture offer, we could then text the message them on the high street, and then they could walk straight in store. In store, they'll then be able to redeem that coupon directly through NFC. Oh, I beg your pardon, sorry. Directly through NFC payment on the through the till system.
Okay, so let's shift gears for a little bit. What were some of the challenges that O2 has experienced, O2 Media has experienced, O2 as Telefonica as a company has experienced in the past 24 months here within this mobile marketing ecosystem that you got over, it's going to make you that superior company in the future?
There's two answers to that. The first and the biggest hurdle was education. We spent a lot of time, probably for about the first 12 months or so, going out in the marketplace, educating brands and agencies how to use mobile, where mobile fits in the media landscape. The next challenge is accountability, and that's not solved yet, and that is the next kind of hurdle to get over, is the accountability. The beauty about mobile is that there are so many different calls to action. Are you going straight through to a mobile site, or actually is it an ambient experience channel where you've got your mobile whilst you're watching TV? So the accountability is the key next hurdle. And
is it the wild west right now, or is there standards and practices that are in place that are still being defined by the community as a whole?
We'd never be the wild west. We have to look after our customers' best interest. Everything that we do is best practice. We have to make sure that we deliver messages that don't infuriate customers. There is a lot of bad practice going on, but so is the bad practice going on in any kind of media channel.
So how does O2 help define the landscape for what is a good practice, what is a bad practice? How does a customer complain that they don't like something when it's new technology?
Yeah, so we monitor this in 3 different ways. We ensure that we have customer satisfaction built into our business, and we're measured by customer directly and through customer satisfaction feedback, and that's done on a quarterly basis. Which quarterly basis is not directly on the pulse. We also are more kind of like not real time, but in more kind of campaign specific. We'll do advertising effectiveness surveys, and we will measure how well campaigns have been received, particularly how well that they receive them from O2. But in real time, how we're actually able to measure it is we measure the opt-out rates. We after every message a customer will receive, there's the opportunity to opt out of receiving ad messages, and we can monitor that in real time. So it gives us a really good, clear indication as to whether customers don't want to receive it. And our opt-out rate is much less than the business's opt-out rate. So I'm not exactly sure of the exact number, but it's less than a percent.
I was going to ask on some particular percentages on sort of what's the scalability, the back and forth between I'm opting in, I'm opting out, I'm opting back in again.
I don't know, but it's about less than 1% opting out.
And is there, and I have 2 more questions, but one of them is going to be, is there a sort of a demographic that is the highest targeted marketplace for mobile ads? Is it under 50, or are you seeing more of an adoption for the older generation?
No, we've seen we do have campaigns which run to the older generation, and the majority of the campaigns are, I guess, going to the classic kind of 21 to 34-year-old high ABC1 high-end adopters. That is the majority of the campaigns that go through. But we do have a broad. We don't see a specific audience group which is just wanting to receive text messages. You know, we don't look, you know, this our audience base is across every audience demographic and age.
And finally, Charlie, what are we going to see from O2 Media in the future?
The future is really exciting, actually. The big things that are going to come up is video. Is, you know, that's clearly the future right now, and we're seeing this year, 2011, we'll see the highest number of kind of video MMS run, because people are really interested. They engage with video content as they do online. The introduction of the mobile wallets is hugely exciting. And next year, subject to clearance, actually, the joint venture, which was early announced back in June between Telefonica, Vodafone and Everything Everywhere, may come to fruition, but that's subject to clearance.
That's fantastic. I look forward for an update again in the future, and that is some really exciting news.
Thanks, Tony.
Excellent. I've had the pleasure of speaking with O2's Mr. Charlie Hunter. I am Tony Sklar here at the Mobile Marketing Association with bnetTV.